You know, choosing between a MacBook Air and a MacBook Pro, it used to be so simple. But today, it's honestly one of the toughest, most common decisions anyone looking for a new laptop has to make. So, okay, let's dive right into this and figure out which one is actually the right one for you.
Right? This is it. The agonizing question that I swear millions of buyers face every single year. The Air seems like the smart, obvious choice for most of us. But that little Pro name, it's tempting, isn't it? It just whispers more power, more capability. But the real question is it actually worth all that extra money? And here's why it's so complicated now. Ever since Apple Silicon came along and just completely changed the game, the old rules, well, they just don't apply anymore. That simple idea of cheaper versus more powerful isn't the whole story, not even close. The MacBook Air is now so unbelievably capable that the line between them has gotten seriously blurry. So, what we're going to do is cut through all the noise. Seriously, you can just ignore all those dense spec sheets and confusing benchmark numbers because this entire massive decision really just boils down to three key differences. These are the battlegrounds where the choice is actually made.
And here they are, the three things that matter. First, the display, the screen you're going to be staring at all day. Second, what we call sustained performance, not just how fast it is for a second, but for an hour straight. And third, all those little extra features, the Pro perks, that earn the Pro its name.
Okay, let's be super clear about this. The MacBook Air's display is gorgeous. It's fantastic. But the Pro's display is just on another level. The real magic here is that ProMotion technology. That 120Hz refresh rate means everything, from just scrolling a web page to editing video, feels impossibly fluid and smooth. And if you're a creative pro, that massive jump in HDR brightness is an absolute game changer for things like color grading. And that brings us to our second point, performance. Now there's a big misconception that the Pro is just faster. But in reality, if you're just opening apps or browsing the web, they feel pretty much identical. The real difference isn't about the sprint, it's all about the marathon. And this slide right here explains exactly why. The Air has no fan, zero, which makes it completely silent, which is amazing. But when it works really hard for a long time, it has to slow itself down to cool off. We call that thermal throttling. The Pro, on the other hand, has fans. This means it can run at its absolute peak speed for as long as you want it to, because it can actively push all that heat out. And check this out. This chart shows you exactly what that looks like in the real world. In a short burst, you can see the Air and the Pro, they score about the same. They're neck and neck. But run that same stressful test for 10 minutes straight, and you see the Air's performance has to dip down to manage the heat. Meanwhile, the Pro just keeps on chugging along, rock solid. For something like a long video export, that difference can literally mean minutes of your life saved. Now for those Pro perks, and let's start with something you'll notice every day, the ports. This is a simple one, but it's so important. With the Pro, you just get a dedicated HDMI port for monitors and an SD card reader for your camera. It's all about convenience and avoiding that dreaded dongle life. And hey, if you're a professional photographer or video editor, these aren't just perks, they're essential tools of the trade. And the perks don't stop there. We're also talking about the hardware itself. The Pro packs in a speaker system that is noticeably better. I mean, it's room-filling. And you also get a slightly larger trackpad. These are just those little quality-of-life upgrades that really round out that premium professional feel. Okay, so we've looked at all the technical differences. Now for what is, by far, the most important part, applying all of that to you. Because look, the best laptop isn't the most powerful one. It's the one that best fits what you actually do every single day. So I want you to just take a second and really think about your workflow. What do you do on a computer? Are you writing essays and living in a web browser, or are you compiling massive apps and rendering huge 3D models for hours at a time? Your answer to that question? Well, it's everything. Because here's the truth of it. The MacBook Air is the right machine for the vast, vast majority of people. And that includes almost all students, writers, and business users. It's even the perfect computer for most software developers and for casual creators on YouTube. If your day-to-day work doesn't involve long, intense, heavy rendering tasks, the Air has all the power you will ever need, period. So the MacBook Pro, then, who is this for? It's for a very specific kind of person. This is the person whose income literally depends on how fast their machine can render a video or compile code. We're talking professional video editors, 3D artists, and developers working on enormous code bases. For them, every single minute saved by those fans and extra cores is actual money earned. Okay, so let's put this all together.
Let's wrap this up with a final, simple verdict. We're going to distill this whole complicated decision down to one single simple rule you can use to make a confident choice.
And here it is. This is the whole thing. The MacBook Air should be your default choice. The burden of proof is actually on you to justify buying the Pro. You need to be able to point to a specific, concrete, recurring task in your daily work that will be significantly, noticeably improved by the Pro's sustained power or its extra features.
So if you're sitting there and you can't immediately name that task, then you can confidently buy the MacBook Air and know, without a doubt, that you've made the right choice. It is a phenomenally capable machine, and you'll be thrilled with its performance, all without overspending on power you would simply never use.
And that kind of leaves us with one last really fascinating thought. With Apple Silicon making the baseline so incredibly powerful, has the MacBook Air basically become the new Pro laptop for the modern majority? And has that left the actual MacBook Pro as this specialized tool for a smaller and smaller group of high-end professionals? It's definitely something to think about.